Faith Church, hope you are doing well. We are now into the season of Lent, and so good to gather last night for Ash Wednesday, and I'm looking forward to the coming season as we reflect and repent and practice and anticipate moving towards the celebration of Easter in several weeks. So this journey through the Lord's Prayer continues this Sunday. We will look at that part of the prayer where Jesus speaks about forgiveness, teaches us to pray about forgiveness, our own forgiveness from God and the forgiveness we not just receive but extend to other people. It's been interesting to me as I've studied a number of good resources and commentaries that other parts of the prayer that seem to go together are broken up by chapters in these commentaries. For instance, when Jesus says to pray, your kingdom come, thy will be done, and a lot of study guides, those are two separate chapters. Same with the last part of the prayer, which we'll get to next week. Lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil. Those seem to be two different requests for most people who study this. But this one, which may seem like two requests, is actually, it's never broken up. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors is always together. That they're like two blades on a pair of scissors that cannot be separated. That somehow God's forgiveness of us and our forgiveness of others are always tied together. You cannot have one without the other. And there's so much here. I've got way too much to share on Sunday than I have time for. There's a lot I'm leaving out. My sermon is probably still too long, so have an extra shot of caffeine Sunday morning. And God's been teaching me a lot here as I've been reflecting on this part of the prayer. And just a few of the questions that I'm going to try to address are questions like, one, are we really that sinful? I mean, that's not a popular idea these days. Why does Jesus teach us to pray about our sin? Do we really need forgiveness? Secondly, why can't God just ignore our sin? Can't God just say, listen, let's just forget about it? And why does it have to be such a problem for God to just wipe it away? Why do we have to keep confessing our sin day after day after day? I mean, if God's forgiven us, right? I think we believe that. God's forgiven us for our sin, past, present, and future. Why do we have to keep dragging it before God? Why do we every Sunday, every morning keep confessing? What's the point of that? What is forgiveness really? And what is forgiveness not? I think we have some confusion around that. And then again, this big question, which we'll try to tackle head on. If I don't forgive other people in my life, regardless of what they've done to me, does that really mean that God withholds forgiveness from me? These are some of the questions we're going to look at. Obviously, there's a lot to cover, and looking forward not just to sharing with you, but having opportunities in life groups and around our families, even with our kids, to talk about these things, I think, which will teach us, allow Jesus to teach us how to pray this part of the prayer, which is central to our conversation with God. So looking forward to being with you Sunday. Again, I hope you can be here in person. It's just better in person. If you can't, by all means, join us online. But if you can, come and be with us, and and pray that God will open us to not only hear His voice, but be changed by what He says to us. Wherever you are today, pray that you would sense the love of God as your Father, and the grace of Christ, His Son, and the presence of the Spirit with you. Peace.